In uncertain times, hope still endures. In Italy, the country's first Adventist church just turned 100, now a National Historic Landmark. On Easter Island, a new Adventist church is born, sharing the gospel in the native Rapa Nui language through live radio. Across South America, volunteers shared over 18 million copies of The Key to Change, promoting emotional health and resilience. And in the Netherlands, Adventists distributed nearly 10,000 copies of The Great Controversy, reaching hearts in a secular society. This and more now on ANN. In the Netherlands, a remarkable mobilization brought thousands of Adventists to the streets in a nationwide outreach initiative.
Volunteers of all ages took to public spaces with books in hand, smiles on their faces, and a clear message of hope. The project, called Impact Netherlands, launched a large-scale distribution campaign for the book The Great Controversy across the Dutch territory, one of the most secularized regions in the world. With strategic organization and the support of local churches, participants spread out to busy areas such as train stations, shopping centers, and downtown streets. The public's response surprised even the most experienced. Many reacted with interest and emotion when receiving the printed book or a flyer with a QR code linking to the digital version. But the mission goes beyond distribution. For Seventh-day Adventists, the book is not just religious content. It's an invitation to reflect on faith, freedom of conscience, and personal choices in a spiritually complex world. They believe that, over time and through spiritual inspiration, this message can spark meaningful questions, open new conversations, and bring hope to those searching for something deeper. And this is just the beginning. The campaign will continue with future phases, encouraging local congregations to keep the mission alive, using literature as a bridge between faith and personal discovery, in a world increasingly connected, yet still seeking answers.
A century of faith, resilience, and mission. The first Seventh-day Adventist Church ever built in Italy has just turned 100 years old, and it has been officially recognized by the Italian government as a site of cultural and historical significance. More than a celebration, this moment marks the continuation of a story written with courage, sacrifice, and hope.
In northern Italy, among the hills of the Piedmont region, a Sabbath of celebration unfolded in Montaldo Bormida, a small village with just over 600 residents. There, the community gathered to mark a historic chapter, the 100th anniversary of the country's first Seventh-day Adventist chapel. With limited resources but strong faith, the local members managed to build the chapel, laying the foundation for a lasting Adventist presence that would continue for generations. The land was donated by one of the first local supporters of the faith, and history records that, even while facing resistance from civil and religious authorities, the early leaders stood firm, preaching, gathering, and serving. 100 years later, the simple structure, built of stone and conviction, has been officially recognized by Italy's Ministry of Culture as a site of artistic and historical significance. This recognition reinforces the church's role not only as a place of worship, but as a historical landmark preserved for future generations. People from across Italy traveled to the village to take part in the historic celebration. The centennial event brought together church members, leaders, and civic authorities. The images you're seeing were recorded for a recent documentary hosted by historian Tiziano Rimoldi, a professor at the Adventist Theological Faculty in Florence. The production revisits the early steps of Adventism in the country and helps highlight the historical value of the Centennial Chapel. During the celebration, Professor Rimoldi shared a reflection on the importance of reclaiming the spirit of early faith in order to remain relevant and faithful to the mission in today's world. In the chapel's garden, an olive tree was planted, a symbol of continuity, life, peace, and the hope of Christ's return. More than a date on the calendar, the centennial of the Montaldo Bormida Church reaffirms a mission that spans generations and lives on in every act of faith and every commitment to continue sharing the gospel of hope.
The Voice of Hope now speaks the language of Rapa Nui. Local radio station 107.3 FM has begun live broadcasts featuring programs in the island's native language, expanding the reach of the Bible's message on this remote Chilean island in the heart of Polynesia. And the moment is even more significant. After years of mission work, a group of 30 Seventh-day Adventists is now officially recognized as the first organized church on the island.
To continue sharing the timeless message with every nation, tribe, language, and people in Rapa Nui, the Seventh-day Adventist Church group has been established in this Polynesian region, right in the heart of the Pacific Ocean. This has been a long-held dream for the congregation on this island of Chile.
After many years of hard work, dedication, and sacrifice from both our community and the leadership of the Chilean Mission of the Pacific and the Chilean Union, we are excited to turn a long-held dream into reality. Today, we can officially organize the Rapa Nui group into a church, and we are proud to see leaders emerging who can confidently guide the church. We also want to express our gratitude to God for the special and meaningful gift of the New Time Network.
New Time Chile is also involved in this project, offering live broadcasts on local radio 107.3 FM. This way, more people can discover the love of God and the hope found in Christ Jesus.
Now, in organizing the church, we have also set up the studio to broadcast programs in the Rapa Nui language. Church members will be speaking in Rapa Nui, and to support this, Nuevo Tiempo Chile is working on a project to translate 3 Bible studies. We are confident that listeners will feel inspired, learn in a meaningful way, and be drawn to this church and its community.
The Bible School has created this beautiful magazine titled Hope. We're excited to share that we're working on making it available in Rapa Nui. As it beautifully states, I believe in sharing the Word of God. We are confident that in Rapa Nui, home to over 9,000 residents, many will come to know Jesus Christ through the message of hope.
The event included a team of administrative leaders from the Adventist Church who shared their excitement and support for being part of this vision from God.
Being welcomed with such love and joy truly makes us happy. We can see how the church is already embracing us here. As a division, we dream of sharing the gospel in every corner of the world.
Without a doubt, the ability to broadcast the present truth from this location through Nuevo Tiempo will be a valuable addition to the church's missionary project.
Members of the Seventh-day Adventist Church of Rapa Nui shared their joy and gratitude to the Lord for being part of this significant moment as a community.
I'm grateful to God for the blessed hope we have here. After starting in a small group at home, moving to a branch, and now being part of a church, this journey feels like a tremendous gift from Him.
I am truly grateful to the Lord for the opportunity to have visitors and for the new radio equipment at our church. We had some equipment before, but now it's been upgraded, and the signal is much better. We're excited because this means we can conduct Bible studies over the radio, create programs for the Pathfinders and Adventurers, and offer parenting classes as well. I feel like we have so many tools to work with and to share our message here in the church.
We are thrilled because this has been a dream of ours for many years, especially for the first brothers who arrived here over 20 years ago. This past year, we worked to grow the group, and today, it officially becomes a church. It's the fulfillment of a long-time dream. We're honored to have many pastors here for this special ceremony. It's a dream come true, and we couldn't be happier.
In this way, the New Time Network and the church will continue to support the congregation across the country as we work together to share the message of the gospel.
Nearly 1 year after the worst climate disaster ever recorded in the Brazilian state of Rio Grande do Sul, the city of Canoas, one of the hardest hit by the floods, gathered thousands of people once again. But this time, not to mourn what was lost, but to celebrate hope. A special event marked by music and solidarity remembered the pain and the strength of those who chose to start over.
In 2024, devastating floods left a trail of destruction across southern Brazil. Homes submerged, entire neighborhoods wiped from the map, schools underwater, families displaced, animals lost. The country watched in shock as heartbreaking images filled the screen. But along with the devastation came a wave of relief. The Seventh-day Adventist Church immediately mobilized its network across the region. ADRA, the church's humanitarian arm, with support from ASA volunteers, launched into action, distributing water, food, mattresses, and providing emergency shelter. The Adventist school in Canoas became a safe haven for those displaced. And influential leaders like Pastor Rodrigo Silva joined efforts on the front lines.
Guys, the thank you you're hearing from Paulo right now is really meaningful. Let me explain why. Paulo is the discipline coordinator at the Canoas school, and his role here is important. Where are you currently living?
Today at school, I'm grateful.
Paulo is here around the clock managing everything. Do you know why he's living at the school? His own home was flooded too. In other words, he's a victim who refuses to play the victim. Instead, he's channeling all that pain into helping others. He's here with his wife and their 2 daughters.
Stories of courage multiplied across the region. While the state counted its losses, solidarity continued saving lives. Nearly 1 year later, the same muddy ground became the stage for the Hope Concert. More than 2,500 people gathered at Canoas Municipal Park to take part in the celebration. The event was part of Impacto Esperanza, an initiative by the Seventh-day Adventist Church that freely distributes Christian literature and offers services for emotional and physical healing. There were health checkups provided by the Adventist Clinic of Porto Alegre, and musical performances by artists from the Novo Tempo and Ventania labels, as well as choirs from local churches, all highlighting the community's strength and deep faith. During the concert, volunteers who participated in rescue missions were honored. Among them was Mr. Godoy, who saved more than 400 people using a jet ski. Now, 1 year later, he received the kind of recognition from the community that no flood could ever wash away. The book, The Turning Point, distributed during the event, shared reflections on emotional resilience, a critical theme for those still carrying the weight of trauma. Many haven't yet rebuilt their homes, but they are rebuilding hope. And through baptism, several people sealed their decisions of faith, choosing a new way of life. And in that spirit, the event came to a close, with the crowd moved by a shared sense of gratitude for life. A large choir, formed by singers from Novo Tempo TV and joined by the audience, sang together under a clear sky, a powerful affirmation that faith cannot be swept away by the flood. It stands stronger than ever, rooted in a loving God who sustains and restores.
Thousands of Adventists in 8 South American countries take to the streets to give people books on emotional health and hope.
During the Impacto Esperanza initiative, more than 18 million people across 8 South American countries received a powerful gift, The Key to Change. Co-authored by physician Marcelo Nieck and theologian Bruno Rasso, the book Focus on Emotional Health offers practical strategies for dealing with stress, overcoming trauma, and finding emotional balance, as well as personal and spiritual growth. The president of the Adventist Church in the South American region, Pastor Stanley Arco, shares the objective of the action.
This year, in a special way, through the book The Key to Change, which addresses mental health, we want to bring people even closer to a topic that is both important and deeply experienced in our post-pandemic reality. Dr. Nieck and Pastor Bruno Rasso wrote this book to reach those facing anxiety, depression, and everyday challenges so they can find happiness, live with joy, and achieve a better quality of life. Our intention is to reach the broader community and offer at least a starting point for what true mental well-being means.
Since its launch in 2007, Impacto Esperanza has distributed over 300 million free books on topics like health, family, well-being, and spiritual development. More than just promoting reading, the project opens doors to a renewed life and lasting change.
2 youth groups in the South Pacific region joined the global celebration of the first ever World Ambassador Day.
In Papua New Guinea, 2 youth clubs from Adventist churches in the Kavieng district came together for a special event focused on worship, culture, and leadership development. The program was part of a new global initiative launched by the Seventh-day Adventist Church to engage ambassador-aged youth, ages 16 to 21, through spiritual connection, leadership, and community involvement. A total of 57 young people attended the celebration. Guest speaker, Jokabeth Pomelo, former Women's and Children's Ministries Director for the Adventist Church in Papua New Guinea, encouraged the youth to recognize their spiritual worth and calling. She concluded her message by distributing decision cards, inviting the ambassadors to grow in their faith and embrace their identity as people chosen to make a difference. In the evening, 6 cultural groups performed music in their native languages using traditional instruments. Some reenacted stories of how the first missionaries brought the Adventist message to their regions. Ambassador Ministry staff members expressed their gratitude to all who participated and shared their joy in seeing the group recognized alongside other youth-focused initiatives.
A major publishing event brought together hundreds of participants from across the Inter-American region to celebrate and strengthen their work in literature distribution.
Held in Panama City, Panama, the first Publishing Ministries Congress of the Seventh-day Adventist Church in the Inter-American region gathered over 350 literature promoters under the theme Chosen to Proclaim. The event focused on training, inspiring, and equipping participants who help distribute values-based literature throughout the region. The Congress highlighted the growth of publishing ministries since 2021, including the doubling of literature evangelists and the expansion of full-time, occasional, and student evangelists. With a network of 91 bookstores in 36 countries, the Inter-American Publishing Association, the territory's largest publishing house, continues to provide both printed and digital materials for educational and inspirational use. Participants were honored in recognition ceremonies for their efforts in literature promotion, and leaders encouraged continued dedication despite global challenges. The Congress also included calls to action aimed at expanding the outreach and impact of their literature distribution efforts, with the goal of transforming lives across communities.
Pastor Ko Seli, his wife, and their daughter Kayla made a move for God by relocating to Hickory, North Carolina in the United States to follow God's calling. With the support of Adventist Refugee and Immigrant Ministries, their goal is to strengthen the local Hmong community and train new leaders to share the gospel to their own people.
Pastor Ko Seli, his wife Terry, and their daughter Kayla are about to take a leap of faith for Jesus. They're relocating to Hickory, North Carolina to follow God's call to be involved with a Hmong church plant. Pastor Ko is a Hmong pastor originally from Thailand, and Terry coordinates Adventist Refugee and Immigrant Ministries in North America. The Adventist Refugee and Immigrant Ministries was launched in 2009 by the North American Division. 2 years later, the 2011 13th Sabbath offering gave it a real jump start with church planting. It allowed a team of church planting consultants from 12 language groups to visit and encourage scattered groups of recently resettled refugee families.
Our very early goal in reaching other cultures should be to find the people that God has called and empower them to reach their own people.
These consultants organized groups into church plants, mentored their leaders, and connected them with local conferences.
They were effective at it, they were respected. People were drawn to God as a result. They were usually church planting effectively, successfully wherever they went. And they also felt a calling to reach their people.
With the help of the Holy Spirit, the work began to grow rapidly. The number of language groups doubled. The number of refugee congregations tripled from 57 to 179. Membership quadrupled, and both annual baptisms and tithe grew eightfold. Once they were organized into church plants, they soon began serving their communities.
The 13th Sabbath offering enabled us to provide a little travel budget to enable them to go and plant churches in areas where there were no churches, where they had already begun reaching people. They were able to go and minister, to plant churches among small groups, and then they were able to reach their communities, and the work just grew and expanded beyond what I ever would have dreamed.
Pastor Ko Seli has planted 3 Hmong churches so far and is facilitating the planting of a 4th.
When we start working with the Hmong here in the U.S., it's very challenging because once we become Christian, most of the people in the family will disfellowship you. They consider you as an outcast, they disown you. And so unless we build a support system, it's very difficult for someone to leave their culture or their family.
Pastor Ko has created a global Hmong network, creating key Hmong Adventist leaders and members from every part of the globe. These leaders take turns leading weekly worship times. As the Seli family moves to Hickory, their dream is to establish a church in Hickory and another one in the nearby city of Charlotte.
But the second goal, we want to establish a Hmong center, a training center, a place where we can equip our leaders, not just across the country, but we're hoping to be able to do a place where we can train leaders worldwide. And so that would be our dream and our goal.
Pastor Ko, Terry, and the refugee churches across the North American Division are grateful to you, who through your generous 13th Sabbath offering have helped to make all this possible.
Many churches have started because of the 13th Sabbath offering. And so the work among refugees now have gone way beyond what we imagined when we started in 2009.
Please pray as the work among immigrants and refugees continues. Pray for the Seli family as they plant churches in North Carolina. Thank you for supporting the mission offering that helps plant churches around the world.
For more inspiring mission stories, visit AdventistMission.org. In the capital of the Dominican Republic, Neighborhoods with little to no access to healthcare received special attention. The volunteer project was carried out in partnership with Maranatha Volunteers International.
A team of 41 volunteers from Advent Health, a U.S.-based healthcare network affiliated with the Seventh-day Adventist Church, provided medical care through 5 temporary clinics set up in Santo Domingo. In total, more than 1,000 people received free services, including medical consultations, vital sign checks, and health education. While the medical team cared for the population, another group of volunteers helped build and paint the Ciudad del Cielo Adventist School, which is set to be inaugurated in July. For many, it was more than just a medical mission. It was an opportunity to live out, in practical ways, the healing ministry of Christ, bringing health, education, and hope to underserved communities.
This May, churches and communities unite for compassion. ADRA invites you to be part of a global movement, bringing hope to those affected by disasters and hunger. Your participation makes a difference.
Everything is gone. Everything is gone. Those who stay, they gone. That is my friend and my sister-in-law. Yeah, he dead. Then I had a situation for me. Now they say nobody can live in here anymore. But me, I ain't go nowhere. I ain't got no place, no nothing. I ain't got no money, no nothing in me. Now I need to live myself.
That's it for this week's edition of ANN. Want to know more about what the Seventh-day Adventist Church believes? Visit Adventist.org. And to stay updated with the latest news and inspiring stories from around the world, head to Adventist.news. Thanks for watching. Until next time, God bless you.